yeah, you do turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Go way past that.
All right. If I can have your attention, I'd like to call to order the Board of Trustees work meeting of June 8, 2022. The time is 7 o'clock. If we could please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance and have a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mayor Queenie Bars, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson,
Here.
Trustee Betsy Harrison,
Here.
Trustee Nicholas Mary,
Here.
Trustee Richard Tucker,
Here.
Trustee Julie Bryan,
Here.
Trustee Ed Holland.
Here.
All right. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. May I please have a motion?
I'll make a motion that.
Wait. Nick's gonna make it.
No.
No?
For the minutes.
Oh,
Is it okay?
sorry. Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Janice Bryan and a second by Richard Tokar.
Oh, I missed that.
He's very quiet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. The next thing we have is approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to amend the minutes of May 25th, 2022 by removing Town Attorney David Lieberman as he was not present at this meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes with that change, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign? Okay. Minutes are approved. We have a request for a proclamation. Would the requester please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and give us a presentation in 5 minutes or less.
Okay, my name is Sandra Haley. My address is 111 West Street, and that's here in Mancos. Thank you very much for hearing me. I submitted a suggestion for a proclamation for June as Pride Month. And in interest of respecting your time and the time of everyone here, I want to just offer the 3 main reasons that I believe this proclamation should be passed. First, it will help to fulfill Mancos' town mission, which reads in part that we are a diverse community in which celebration of difference is prioritized. Number 2, good reason, is that it will enable Mancos to formally participate in the nationwide commemoration of the Stonewall Uprising in 1969, which was in response to ongoing police harassment and violence against the two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, and other community. So that brings me to reason number 3, which is the most important reason. I've spent my adult life working with young people. And I know from research and experience that two-spirit, and from this point forward, I'll just say 2S LGBTQ+, and or gender nonconforming youth are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. And that's not because 2S LGBTQ+ people are inherently suicidal, but that is a response to stressors such as bullying, discrimination, and familial rejection. However, studies also show us that having just one accepting adult can reduce that elevated risk by 40%. Youth who live in communities, studies show, that are accepting of 2S LGBTQ+ people have drastically lowered rates of suicide attempts by young people. That, to me, is the one most important reason, but I could go on. There's thousands, but I want to be respectful of your time. So I just want to say that this proclamation is just one small way that we can signal to young folks who are 2S, LGBTQ+, or who are questioning their identity, that folks in Mancos, that they matter, that they are worthwhile. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do I read the proclamation and then take a vote, or do I take a vote?
Generally, read the proclamation, any discussion, and then.
Okay, all right. The new process. Okay. The Town of Mancos proclamation of LGBTQ2S+ Pride Month, June 2022. Whereas the Town of Mancos supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination and harassment, and whereas the Town of Mancos denounces prejudice and unfair discrimination based on age, gender identity, gender expression, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical attributes as an affront to our fundamental principles. And whereas the Town of Mancos wishes to participate in building a nation of equal rights for all people and to honor our diverse community. And whereas Pride began in June of 1969 on the one-year anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City after LGBTQ2S+ and allied friends rose up and fought against constant unconstitutional police harassment and discriminatory laws. And whereas June is celebrated as LGBTQ2S+ Pride Month nationwide, and whereas the Town of Mancos has a diverse LGBTQ2S+ community that includes people of all ethnicities, religions, and professions, and whereas, excuse me, and whereas it is imperative that young people in our community, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers and community leaders, and whereas everyone should be able to live without fear of prejudice, discrimination, violence, and hatred based on age, gender identity, gender expression, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical attributes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, on behalf of all residents of Mancos, does hereby proclaim June 2022 as LGBTQ2S+ Pride Month and urges all residents to respect and honor our diverse community and celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance. Any discussion? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the proclamation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion by Trustee McMahon and a second by Trustee Betsy Harrison. Is it a group vote or?
Any further
Okay.
discussion?
Oh, yeah, I asked for
No,
discussion.
yeah, I'm just saying that's the way we follow this, but no, I don't have any discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
very much.
you. Thank you very much.
That feels odd. Okay, next on the agenda is audience business, and no one has signed up for speaking on things not on the agenda. Is there anybody here that wanted to speak on something not on the agenda? Okay, seeing no one, we will move on to announcements.
I have a few, and then we'll see if the department has something. CML is next in a couple of weeks. So anybody who's going, please get together with Jamie to talk about travel checks. We covered obviously your registration in your hotel, but we will reimburse for mileage and meals and college years and everyone. So, but those of you who are traveling to CML, please reach out to JP so you can get a travel check before you leave. If you want to do it when you get back, that's fine too. But if you want to do it before you leave, please get in touch with Jamie. She'll work with you on that. facility tours, just another reminder, I will send a meeting request for those of you. But July 8th at 10 a.m., the trustees will, who are interested in receiving tours of our facilities, will meet at the wastewater treatment plant. You'll start at the wastewater treatment plant, go to the property on Road 39, more commonly known as the old dump property. Wander your way over, as time permits, to the water treatment plant. And depending on the construction activity out there, it may be not a full tour of the plant, and then the airport property or gravel farther through. So I'll send a meeting request, but July 8th at 10 a.m., you will meet Terry at the wastewater. I have received an inquiry from Four Corners Recycling Initiative as to if the town is interested in discussing recycling. So historically, what the board has done is encouraged them to apply for our agency contributions, because that's how we handle requests from nonprofits for funding. I wanted to see if there was anything else we should be doing. Historically, we had an agreement. Historically, the school has taken the initiative on this project. The bins are located on school property. The school students kept them neat and tidy so the trash wasn't blowing around town on properties. I don't know if the school wants to continue doing that now that we have new administration. So I will probably be meeting with Four Corners Recycling, and if we can get a response from the school, representative from the school on this topic, and I'll be bringing more information to you all. However, if we can't come to some kind of agreement, the bids are going to be full. So I'll do some more research and let you know, but I just wanted to let you know that they have reached out. We haven't heard from them for a while. So I just wanted to update you all on we may be talking about that at a workshop or something.
Has the school even said anything, or we haven't approached them at all yet?
Four Corners Recycling has reached out several times and hasn't received a response, so I gave him alternate contact with the school district,
Okay.
so he's going to try that to see what happens.
Okay.
If he doesn't get a response back, then
Yeah, I mean, when they moved it over there, it stays much cleaner, but it's definitely an asset to the community as a whole.
so I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes. I don't have anything else, Jamie. Do you have any announcements? That's it. That's good. I do want to thank you guys for coming to the retreat. We're kind of finalizing some items that came out of that to bring them to the board agenda and stuff. So we'll see those items on future meetings.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Do any trustees have an announcement? Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda are committee reports, Region 9.
Region 9, I'm going to report just a little bit on their activities in May. That's the latest that I've had from them. And it's already been reported, but Shaq's joining Region 9, and that'll be at the end of the month. Their business development received 36 inquiries about loan funding, and 6 of those came from Montezuma County. 9 loans total out of the 36, 9 loans approved, and 3 loans were closed. And then they have a planning and tech assistance, and then they had 47 inquiries for resources and referrals, and 10 of those came from Montezuma County. 46 inquiries into the enterprise zone, questions and inquiries. The enterprise zone, 24 from Montezuma County, and they had their grant program, so 6 from Montezuma for inquiries, and our office, Region 9's office in Cortez, they're leaving the Dolores State Bank satellite office, and they're going to be full-time in the Cortez Business Resource Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Montezuma County Commissioner update. Man up.
You got me just the way I came off the mountain from moving cows. So,
Tis the season.
as most of you know, Shaq is leaving, and we've been going through a process of candidates. We actually received 14 applications for that position. We basically have narrowed it down to 6, which we're going to interview this next week. And that's where that situation's at right now. We did sign back up with the NCA for the Dolores River below the dam. And we're going to put Montezuma County's portion back in to the NCA. And we've written a letter of support for Senator Bennett to go ahead with the legislation. Because Dolores County, most of it's in Dolores County and San Miguel, but they're all on board. They're wanting to do this. We actually got some changes in the language as far as the water rights go, and to protect especially the small users outside of the land mass that's going to be covered, outside of the covered land. There was some language in there that made all of any change that happened to a water right that you would have to go through a Section 9 analysis. Okay, so we got that basically all taken out, and some language in there as far as the definition of what unreasonably diminished means, because that's in the Scenic Rivers Act. See, and with this legislation, it's going to take the Scenic River off of the lower Dolores, okay? Because every time they've studied it, they come up with more outstanding remarkable values, and our concern is that if they keep coming up with these values, at some point they're going to want more water to sustain them. And that's going to impact the whole community if that happens. Okay, so we think we're better off going in this other direction with an NCA and can still keeping the outstanding remarkable values that are there. We're not trying to do away with any of that stuff. We just need to control it in such a way that we can maintain them, and in a manner that is good for everybody in the whole community. Okay, so that's basically what we've been working on mostly the last few days. So, you got any other questions for me?
What is an NTA? What is an NTA?
An NCA, National Conservation Area. Okay, and the reason we went with a National Conservation Area is it does not include public land or private land. I mean, it comes, like if there's private land along the river, it comes to that boundary. The only thing that stays in the NCA is the river itself. And when it goes out the other side, the NCA picks up again and goes on. Okay, so it doesn't tie up people's private property either. So if this goes through Congress, if Senator Bennett introduced it, goes through the Senate and goes through the House, which I think they're all on board to actually carry this thing. This thing has been going on for a long time. I started working on this thing when I was commissioner the last time, 2004, 2003, sometime in there. Even before I was commissioner, I think I was on that committee. So, you know, this thing's been going on. It's taken a long time because it's very serious issues with the water and that. It's not so much the land as it is the water issues. That's what we've had this real struggle with, to make sure that we protected everybody's rights. So that's where we're at with that. And we feel like if we can do a management plan for a national conservation area, we can make it work for everybody. And we have control over it more. If the wild and scenic suitability on there, I mean, they manage it as a wild and scenic river. That's what they do. So they have to. That's what the agency has to do, is manage it as a wild and scenic river until either they nominate it as one or they take that off of there. And the only way you can take it off of there is legislate it off, because that was one of the 5 rivers they ordered studied in the original Wild and Scenic Rivers Act, is the Dolores. So it's been on there ever since 1974, I believe. 74 or 76, one of the others, when that Wild and Scenic Rivers Act, and that river's been on there ever since then. So hopefully this will be a better deal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also want to thank the commissioners. We received, they had agreed to fund $100,000 towards our fiber, project. They did, give us that money, so I put it in the savings account until we get to that, but I wanted to let you know so we can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's like, what?
That'll help a lot.
When do we do that?
Yeah. When did we do that?
Do you know about that?
All right, thank you for updating us on that. Appreciate it. Next up, treasurer report.
Does anyone have any questions on the bills and claims?
Okay. Seeing no comments or questions, I'm open for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills and claims as prepared by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Richard Tokar and a second by trustee Janice Bryan. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison. Aye. Trustee Nicholas Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
Aye.
Trustee Janice Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Helm.
Aye.
Okay. Next are our discussion and action items, and the first thing up is 2021 financial audit. You're up.
I'll give you the same option I always do. Do you want it really fast, really long?
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
Brass tacks.
It all looks good.
bottom line.
Most of you have been through my presentation, so I'll kind of do it the same way. Like I always say, ignore the first 15 pages. Actually, the first 2 pages of the audit report itself says the good audit and everything's fine. Then pages 3 to 15 are done, except the town was applied to nuisance. So it's not the way you do your budget, all your equipment is depreciated and stuff like that. If you go to page 15, the first column. The first column at the bottom, on the left-hand side, it says changes in net position, 3 lines up at the bottom. That's a fancy word for profit. You'll see the town made $2 million from governmental activity. Don't even think that happened. What that is you've got the big bridge grant, so that comes in as revenue, but the bridge gets moved over and depreciated, so there's no expense for the bridge. So it makes it, that's why I say more, it gives you all kinds of weird. The accounting people in Washington want to see it, but it doesn't do you good. From there back, everything is done the way you guys budget. I'm going to skip way ahead here. Go back to page 37. That's your budget to actual for your general fund. 3 lines up in the bottom in the actual column, you'll see excess deficit revenues over under other sources and expenditure. That's your net profit. We made $242,000. So the general fund did fine. There's a lot of grant stuff going through there, but it kind of offsets itself, so it didn't really impact the bottom line. So you did fine. You're like all the small towns around here, the sales tax are through the roof with the COVID stuff. You did overspend your budget. You'll see under the total expenditure line is about 4 inches up from the bottom. We overspent the budget by $368,000. A big chunk of that was a tiny deal on the purchase of the marshal's office. I think that thing got budgeted in 2015 it closed where it hit the books in 21.
Hmm.
It's not a big deal. The state may send you letters saying 99, you overspent your budget. These guys overspend 6 or 8 funds a year.
Yeah, what are they gonna do,
Not
foreclose?
to point fingers or anything. Sorry,
You won't
Gerald.
go to jail.
Right.
Skip back, I guess you could skip over to 40 is your conservation trust fund. It lost $98. It's gonna be all over the board. Your water money's gonna put in. You'll save that, spend it.
What page?
40.
40, okay.
It was fine. It goes, excuse me, up and down. Page 41 is the water fund. This one is done the way that you do your budget. I did want to point out down there about halfway in the non-operating revenue expenses, you'll see a line that says proceeds from long-term debt, $1,500,000. That is that water loan. And then I'm going to go back and forth on here, but I have to. Go back to page 19 also. I want to point something out that all ties together here. These are your balance sheets for your water and your sewer. The last current asset there on the water fund is undistributed loan proceeds. They loaned you the $1.5 million on that water project, but they're only advancing that money as you use it. So that the balance of that went into, an undistributed account with them. That $1,422,000 is what is not spent of that loan. So I wanted to go back and forth with it. We treat it as if you got the whole $1.5 million loan this year, which on paper you did, but we reflected over there that you haven't gone down or done anything. It's sitting there. Go down the third line up from the bottom, change in that position. Water fund did fine, it made $256,000, and that's after $156,000 transfer back to general for operations. So, water fund, you're fine. You always have been and still are. The next page is not quite so rosy. This is sewer. I'll start with that change in net position. You'll see you lost $197,000. $200,000 of that is depreciation on your equipment because your enterprise funds for your charging for the services, you have to treat it like a private business, but it's still not real healthy. And actually, under your operating income, you get $26,000. That is not meeting the requirements of the loan, that CWPRPA loan that you took out a few years ago. They require more operating income than that. Heather was in touch with them. Doesn't seem to be an issue at the present time, but I did want to point out that, the sewer fund's just kind of sick. And, it's not transferring any money back to general either, so, might be something to look at. And that is a very down and dirty, everything was in good shape. Heather does well. Other than the overspent budget.
Other than that.
Nothing else I can find.
I do want to say with regard to the sewer fund, we're revisiting this issue.
Yeah.
We never revisit issues we talked about for this reason right here. We talked about this extensively last year. Many public meetings, made some decisions. We've had some citizen pushback. So, although we never generally will look back at decisions made, at the retreat, I was asked to put this item on the July 13th agenda for discussion. But, so if you all could remember this when we're talking about that would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, that really puts a whole new light
Yeah, it's
on things.
Gotta have healthy sewers.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, any questions? Any other comments?
I will post this on, once you motion and once you accept it, if you accept it, I will post this on our website.
Okay. All right, so I would accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2021 financial audit for Majors and Halley.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the financial audit by trustee Janice Bryan and a second by trustee Richard Tokar. Any further discussion? See no one jumping to the microphones. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison. Aye. Trustee Nicholas Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Clifford.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Howe.
Aye.
Okay, so our next item is a public hearing. I
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Any questions or feel the need to
Yeah.
read this for some that out?
Okay. All right, so our next item up is a public hearing for ordinance 770, series 2022, short-term rental regulations. And so I'll go ahead and just open the public hearing now, and then we'll have our regular procedure that we follow.
And I'd like to recuse myself. I have a for-profit property management business, and I'd like to recuse myself for this portion.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Just don't forget about me.
Yeah, we'll send somebody
I
out
think
for
I
you.
should
Thank you, Nick.
recuse myself at the same token as I own one.
So, my advice, I think, is, for three conflicts on this. If you own like a property management house, or you own a private, short-term rental, because it's legislated, it's not quasi-judicial that you can participate, because it's like a town-wide ordinance legislated. So,
Oh, so, okay.
not necessarily required to recuse yourself.
Should he stay or should he go?
I feel better if I
Okay.
Thanks.
They should
I
get
guess
this
I'll do
on
the
then.
same.
Okay.
Okay, well, we still have a quorum, because I can vote, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have discussed this at several at the board level several times, since August of 2021, and at the planning commission level several times since August of 2021. We did notice a public hearing at the last planning commission meeting in April, and they reviewed the information, recommended it come to you. It was brought to you for review and discussion. You had some changes. I captured those changes. So this now is up to you. If you are satisfied with this, then we can adopt it and move forward. It will become effective 30 days after publication. So for example, if you adopt it and approve it tonight, we will publish it in the newspaper next Wednesday, because the paper only publishes once a week, and it will become effective 30 days after that. Our current moratorium expires on August 31st of 2022, so this is not necessary as an emergency. If it's put off again, I'll need to get with David and say, are we doing an emergency? Can we extend again? What do we do? So, depending on how you handle it tonight, will tell us what we do moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
So, anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Any comments, any changes last minute? Anything? Okay. Well,
I got on this one, late into this.
Yeah. But did it all kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, awesome. It is a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience want to speak on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, I would look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 770 series 2022 short-term rental regulations.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. We have a motion to approve by trustee Richard Tokar and a second by Janice Bryan. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Tokar.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
All right. Heather's gonna go fetch our wayward trustees. And we'll just wait till they get back in here. Oh, yeah, thank you, Richard. And so since we're done, I will close the public hearing. Okay, next item on the agenda is open container permit and noise ordinance extension request. Heather, would you go ahead and, yeah, that's right, Jamie, right. Yes.
So used to.
I Am Music will be here July 2nd. It'll be a concert and they're partnered with Fenceline and Alpaca Wrap. They already have their special use permit and the marshal's office has already approved the street closure for this. We actually have someone here who is requesting the open permit request and the noise extension.
Okay, all right, go ahead and your name's Becca?
Yeah, I'm Becca. So I'll keep this short, just kind of reiterating what Jamie said. We
So,
are.
hold on,
Yeah.
name and address, just for the record.
Oh, sorry. Becca Colby, 213 Jacobs Ranch Road, Durango, Colorado. So yeah, I'm with I Am Music on the executive team, and we're a 501c3 that was founded in 2013. We're in Durango. We started with music education, and now we've come to expand where we do outreach programs as well, like within the community of Durango and different high schools. And then we also are doing pop-up music festivals. So we have several in Durango once a month, and this is our first one in Mancos. So we're really excited to be here and partnering with Fenceline, who we've developed a relationship with and have a similar value of, boosting culture and really just boosting cultural economy. That's a shared mission. For logistics, the noise extension is just in case we have like a rain issue or some sort of delay, because we are having our late night shows inside of Fenceline. So that's what the noise extension is for specifically, is the late night show that is in Fenceline Cider on July 1st and then July 2nd. And we likely won't even go towards 11 p.m. It was just like a safety measure as far as, of course, if there's any delay. And then for the open container permit, we are, we'll have like barriers to contain where we will have the street closure and make it like super, we'll have security, hired security, make it super safe and super, informative that this is the only area if you were to pass the open container permit. And then we have our bar at Alpaca Raft, who has agreed to let us put our bar there, which is listed on the special event permit. Yeah.
And this is for 2 days, you say?
So the festival is only on July 2nd.
Okay.
The noise extension, though, is also requested for Fenceline Cider July 1st.
For two separate, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so just at Fenceline Cider is the noise extension, if that makes sense. But then the festival, which is Saturday, the second, that's what we're wanting the open container for.
And is the music on the second going to be outdoors, or is it just begin in Fenceline?
It will be outdoors. So we're setting up our own stage that will be on the street, right there, right outside of Fenceline Cider.
And and I believe our marshal had a few comments about this too.
Okay,
So
Thank you.
first, I got a question, back up on are you guys doing disposable cups or how are you gonna police the trash within the street?
That's a good question. In Durango, we typically have we have our own trash that's set up within our, contained area. So we do recycling and trash, and that would be the same here that we would do that for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I just wanna make sure that the trash is cleaned up when that street closure is done.
Yeah.
So we don't extend that street closure past. And that answers that question, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to bring up to the board is, this is, as far as, since I've been the marshal, this is the first time that we've had a open container permit request for street closure. I do have some concerns on what that's gonna do for other street closure requests, because obviously this is a town-owned street, but we also have events that applicants may not understand they're on CDOT roadway.
Mhm.
And so I just ultimately the code says you guys are the governing authority, so whatever you decide, I'll support. But I just want you to be aware of Pandora's box that we could, but we have a code process, so. As far as that's all I have for law enforcement. Unless Barry has anything.
And we'll be closing off Main Street from where to where?
So for safety, it would be Main and Grand to Main and First.
Okay, that comes
So that way nobody can,
go part up the street.
and we don't want anybody turning on the South Main and then having to do a U-turn right there with their venue, even though they may not need that full closure. We want for traffic flow, we don't want any cars trying to park at Absolute or anything in the vicinity of that corner. So there's gonna be too much public traffic, foot traffic, that we just need that whole thing shut down for their safety.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe expand a little further this Pandora's box about.
So let's take Borough Fest for example.
Take what?
Borough Fest.
Yeah.
This weekend.
A lot of the galleries would like to have alcohol.
Yeah.
So if we do, granted, two completely different events, right?
Right.
But, that's a CDOT control road. So the town doesn't have the governing authority for that roadway. Now, if we move Borough Fest somewhere else, if, Mancos states, we shut down Park First Street. There's a lot of things that we can do, or that applicants could change their venues to allow alcohol in this, First Street. And I just wanted to make board aware that as we continue to grow, we also need to think about the impact of staffing that could continue to happen. Because we all need events and we all want to see events, but what is the underlying degree? Granted, this is different, I don't want to speak too far out. This event is its own event.
Yeah.
But we need to look at these as individual events and what can and cannot be accepted by our town.
Ed?
Well, I think it's a situation there where, it's not difficult for us when someone applies and says, I want to do it on Grand. It's easy to say, that's not within our jurisdiction, it can't be done. So I don't know if in that process or in the application on city governed streets, excluding, CDOT CDOT properties, I think it could be done, but, I don't know. I think it could be worked, but, I see his point, someone say, I want to have it here. Well, you can't. because it's not ours. Well, they had it. Well, yeah, that's a different
Oh,
street.
right.
That's where the Pandora box is gonna come in. But I mean, if we emphasize or let them know up front, only on streets that are owned by the town.
Yeah. So if somebody were to request, and I know we have before, and last year at Borough Fest, the highway was closed on Grand. If they want to serve alcohol, the alcohol would come through us, right? Or CDOT doesn't allow alcohol in the right of way?
So, two things. Number one, CDOT does not allow alcohol on the right of way, so the answer from staff is going to be no.
Okay.
If they insist that we put the application before you, we're happy to, but the staff recommendation is gonna be no for these reasons, whether they're legal reasons, statute, whatever. So that's how the street closures can and will be handled with this. And number two, a special events permit is not heard by the board unless there is citizen comment to the contrary. Unless we have a citizen who says, I don't want this here. The way only special event permits, not liquor licenses, not marijuana licenses, only special event permits are handled is they are handled in-house. There's a 45-day notice. We still follow the state procedure. We use the state forms. We use the state fee schedule. But what we do is Jamie, as the town clerk, has the authority, if there are no public comments to the contrary, we will issue a special event permit. With that permit comes a diagram. And that's actually what you're seeing in your packet.
Yeah.
That's the diagram that has been approved for liquor. Liquor cannot leave that area.
And it has to be fenced.
It is.
No, I mean, but that's another requirement.
Orange fencing, there has to be
a physical barrier.
access. And the entrances and exits are clearly marked, and Jamie handles that as part of her review when she receives a special event permit. There's a list of things like, for example, this is on Alpaca property. We need a letter from Alpaca saying, yes, it's okay. So we have an internal procedure for special event permits only.
Did we not do that on the Hoffman property last year or the year before, where we fenced it off and had alcohol?
We did, yeah,
That
was
was
a
COVID.
special exception under a public health emergency.
Oh, okay.
COVID,
Okay, I was just gonna say, yeah,
the state
that's
suspended their rules. That's something.
okay.
Something totally.
I was just gonna say, I know I've been there. I've drank there.
Anyway, so yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, so how much impact on the town does this create? Like more money? Do they end up paying? Like do you guys like have your own security and cleanup and all that? And so our staff isn't like required to do.
We'll be there to support their security.
Okay.
But as far as, are we gonna go in and manage the event? No.
No, that's okay. No.
As far as, I mean, there's obviously permitting fees and everything else, but is it gonna cost the town any more staffing salary? No, because that's why you have salaried employees. No.
Oh, I get, yeah. You don't get the overtime. Oh, that's another issue. Okay.
So, is there a net positive? Is there revenue generated off the event? Tax?
Well, I'll let Heather.
For them.
For them, right, of course.
Well, but people could go.
So there is obviously, I'm assuming, revenue to the event unless they're a nonprofit. That's kind of the thing.
Of course.
What the town will see, and what we always see for events. So events are generally positive for the town, is we're gonna see increased sales at Festline. We're gonna see increased sales of people coming early and shop and do their thing. We're gonna get increased sales for people who've never been here, liking it, come back.
Sure.
That kind of thing. In this particular instance, we are not, I don't believe they have vendors. Everything's being handled for Festline. So, and as a nonprofit, that's a different issue. But so Festline is, we will see.
Sure.
Generally, the town will see. I couldn't tell you how much that is. I don't know because I'm not running the event or it's not a town event. But yeah, we definitely see.
Residual benefit.
I'm sorry?
Residual benefit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely, events are good.
Primary, secondary, yeah. Richard, do you have any?
I have a question because I saw their original application a while back, it may have changed, the event may have changed in planning, but at one point there was a comment about some support going to the school music department.
Yeah, and that's still part of our programming.
Yes.
So wherever we do our pop-up music festivals, we take that revenue and put it into the community through our outreach programs. So we're still working out our final details. We are in talks with an artist collective here in Mancos as well, and considering maybe a workshops or classes through that avenue. But we also do that. And then we also have sponsors with several local Mancos companies. And so we're marketing their logos on our banners, all sorts of things like that.
And security is gonna be provided, and they will ensure alcohol's not off the premises and stuff, 'cause that leads into law enforcement having to do more than they should have to do during an event like this.
And how about traffic control? Oh, good, great. Sorry, Nick, I should have asked.
I'm not sure.
Like the closures, like is that our equipment and our staff putting it out?
And
They
parking.
have paid
Okay,
required fees and completed the required forms.
Okay.
okay, cool. I was thinking that was how we were doing it now. Yeah.
So that piece of it is handled internally.
Okay, awesome.
If you're concerned about that area that we're just talking about, that, it'll be just like any other weekend event.
Mhm.
His staff will put them out prior to,
Hmm.
their end of the work week. Marshal's office will drive them out, drag them back out of the street.
Okay.
Talking about detour signs and where to place that, but, you know what, we just dealt with a year worth of the bridge being completed.
Yeah. Piece of cake. We used to.
Let's close it down. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions?
And this is the first time you've done this in Mancos. I'm curious, do you have a sense of numbers of how many people do you see in Durango at an event like this?
We usually see about 350 to 400. And that depends on the location in Durango. Like
Sure.
we have one next weekend at Buckley Park, which is
Cool.
a bigger park, and we can do some other pop-up ones
Yeah.
in smaller locations.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
clear on that. And then one thing to note too is we are also, we're paying for hotel rooms for our band members that are staying. So like there's already, direct revenue that way, but then I'm sure other people will stay
Mm-hmm.
in the hotels in the area as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right on. Any other
It's gonna be great.
comments or questions?
Yes.
No, I'm excited.
Okay, I have a question, Heather. Under your, sorry, Jamie, under your, sorry, oh my gosh, faux pas. Under your background and discussion, you've got a recommendation that if the noise ordinance extension is approved, only approve it for July 2nd, since that's what all the paperwork is for.
And that is my fault. I was confused because we had talked about rain delays, and so I thought they were trying to add another day to the event. And I was like, no, we've already had a public hearing. Everything has to be done July 2nd. I didn't realize it was just fence line for July 1st.
Okay, all right. So, so it would stand how you have it up in the recommendation
Yes.
Two different-
Okay.
Well, you can add July 1st if you would like.
to include July 1st, and we're okay if we do that. Okay, Heather?
Please only approve the open container permit for July 2nd. That's
Yes.
where the public notice and that type of thing came in because it's related to liquor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're so inclined, you would approve IM Music Inc.'s request for an open container permit July 2nd of 2022 at the street closure. And approve IM Music's request for noise ordinance extension until 11 p.m. on July 1st and 2nd. Just
Gotcha.
make sure you differentiate the open container
Yeah.
from the
From the
noise.
Well, I think what we'll do is,
10 p.m. the open container.
The open container permit is a separate issue. So we have already published a notice and done all of that. So this recommendation that Jamie has provided to you on the open permit
mm-hmm,
is specific to the public notice that's been published, the application that you received.
mm-hmm.
So it goes back to kind of like what Sam was saying with the, be careful, in your open container permit approval, only approve what your clerk is recommending if you are so inclined, because that's what the notice to the public. The noise ordinance, you have all the Discretion in the world.
Gotcha. 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, no.
No, I lived near that.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing in the background of discussion is that the festival is on July 2nd from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. So till midnight. The open container permit is from 2 to 10.
Mhm.
Okay, so should we have that specificity in the first motion?
That is, if you want to add that, you can. If you do not add it, the public notice
Mm-hmm.
is where we are going to go for, if
Okay,
ever changed.
okay.
So,
whether it's in or out, it doesn't, okay, doesn't matter. Because that's what they asked for and that's what they got approved for. Okay. All right, so let's split this into 2 different motions just so that we're very sure that they're separate.
Sure.
So I would entertain a motion on the open container permit request.
I make a motion to approve the IM Music Inc. request for an open container permit on July 2nd, 2022 at the street closure 141 South Main Street, 2 before the intersection of Main Street and Grand.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by trustee Nick Manning and a second by trustee Betsy Harrison. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Nicholas Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Topart.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Hall.
Aye, aye.
You don't get to vote twice, this is a
You're
miracle.
not saving it.
Okay, all right, and so that has passed. And the second motion I would entertain is regarding the request for a noise ordinance extension.
I make a motion that we approve IM Music Inc. request for a noise ordinance extension until 11 p.m. on July 1st, 2022 and July 2nd, 2022.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Denise Bryan to approve and a second by trustee Ed Allen. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Nicholas Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Topart.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Hall.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Passes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Good
Have
luck.
fun.
This will be fun.
You did great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
All right. The next item before us is cancellation of June 22, 2022 meeting because several of us will be at the CML. So,
so if you guys.
any discussion?
Both our mayor and our mayor pro tem are gone, we will still have a forum, but so,
Yeah.
but whatever you guys want, again, totally at your discretion on this.
Sure.
Well, Richard's been helping me run the meeting, so reminding me what to do. Kidding you.
We're good with the cancellation.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to cancel the
Okay.
June 22nd to 22.
Second, okay. So we have a motion to cancel the June 22nd, 2022 board meeting by trustee Ed Allen and a second by trustee Richard Tokar. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Nicholas Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Richard Topart.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Ed Hall.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. So, oh, yeah.
This is, I'm reading on here on, July 13th, we're gonna talk about the town fire ban. Does that mean before that is July 4th? Are we doing fireworks? Is there,
As far as I know, we're still doing fireworks.
oh dear, okay.
So,
They have an exemption.
Heather, stop me if I'm.
I mean, that's, if we met at this board meeting, would that help talk about, okay.
I'm sure it'll be discussion at their board meeting, which is the first Monday of the month, or the second Monday of the month.
So Fire ban, I've been working with the emergency manager and I'm trying to get into this, discussion. And where the state fire agencies are wanting to see more of a statewide fire ban code. And so I'm trying to get us in the front of it.
Okay.
Nobody wants to be the caboose, so that's
Okay,
it headed.
good, okay.
Great.
But okay, so that hasn't anything to do with fireworks, okay, well, I think we need a fireworks.
Okay, so, the other items for the July 13 agenda, town fire ban, as we just discussed. And then, and that's at our workshop, because it's a discussion. Public hearing for FAMLI opt-in or opt-out. 5-year capital plan adoption, second quarter financials and work plan update, Parks and Trails master plan draft, how cool. And 5-year capital plan update. Are there any other items that anyone would like to suggest for that meeting? Heather?
The second quarter financials and the work plan update and the 5-year capital plan have been moved to the second meeting in July, because the 5-year capital plan includes the Parks Department. So I want to have the Parks and Trails master plan discussion before we give you guys the 5-year plan for the Parks Department.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And what meeting's that at then?
That's because I'm hoping, depending on how your discussion goes on the draft that I give you for the Parks and Trails.
Okay.
master plan, I'm hoping to have the 5-year capital plan on the second meeting in July.
Oh, the second meeting, okay.
Yeah.
July 13th is the first meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
We talked about the 5-year capital plan at the retreat. Talked about all the discussions, staff presented their information. The only thing we have to finalize is the Parks Department, and we need a master plan to do that. So if I get direction from you all on the Parks master plan draft, then I can finalize the 5-year capital plan. When I say the enemy, Terry, that's actually so, so yeah, we'll move those.
Okay. All right. So the next item on our agenda is a executive session. And I have a handy dandy something, I think, in here.
Okay, so do not turn off that recorder, and please don't stop.
Oh, I'm not gonna touch it.
So
Not to worry.
there is,
I gave you some info.
Oh, this one here, right? Okay,
this one.
Yeah.
So we need a motion and a second.
okay,
Then you make this announcement.
okay.
David makes this announcement.
Okay.
You say that, then we turn
Then
this
we
off.
turn it off.
Correct.
Okay.
So do all of that first.
Okay.
And then
No wonder it's always so
Good
confusing.
directions.
Okay, thank you. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, I would entertain a motion to enter executive session, and you would read it off the
you can actually have
agenda.
your paper.
Oh, okay.
It's specific.
I make a motion to go into executive session for conference with town attorney for purposes regarding legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-402 4B regarding wastewater treatment litigation.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Richard Tokar and a second by trustee Nick Manning. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. So it is June 8, 2022, and the time is 8:06, because that clock is wrong. For the record, I am the presiding officer, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson. As required by the Open Meetings Law, this executive session is being electronically recorded. Also present at this executive session are the following persons: Trustee Janice Bryan, Trustee Richard Tokar, Trustee Betsy Harrison, Trustee Ed Hallam, Trustee Nick Manning, Town Attorney David Lieberman, Town Administrator Heather Alvarez, Town Clerk and Treasurer Jamie Higgins, and me, Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Simpson. This is an executive session for the following purpose: for a conference with the town attorney for purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-402, parens 4, parens B, regarding wastewater treatment plant litigation. I caution each participant to confine all discussion to the stated purpose of the executive session, and that no formal action may occur in the executive session. If at any point in the executive session, any participant believes that the discussion is going outside the proper scope of the executive session, please interrupt the discussion and make an objection at that time. David?
Okay. As town attorney, it is my opinion that the discussion of the matter announced in the motion to go into executive session constitutes privileged attorney-client communication, and therefore recommend that no further record be kept of this executive session.
Okay. The town attorney has recommended that no further record be kept of this executive session. The time is now 8:07, and I am turning